Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for this episode of RISE Ruang, where we talk about creativity, community and culture. My name is Caleb and today we have with us Ai Cheng, who was the former president of the MIEA. She was also on the board of regulators of the real estate profession and she was the estate agent of the year in 2023. Ai Cheng, welcome.
Hi, thank you,
Thanks
Caleb.
for joining us today. It's going to be a great conversation. We normally start off with a bit of an icebreaker question, and that is, what is your favorite book? And tell us why it's your favorite.
Okay, favorite book. Of course, I like reading,
Yes.
but the favorite book I can think of at the top of my head will be the book by Dale Carnegie.
Yes.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Right, good one.
I think that book, I read it first when I was in my teens. And that really got me focused my mind a little bit on understanding people better.
Yes.
And what works with them.
Right.
So it was easier for me to communicate with people after that.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's a useful tool. Learning people skills, understanding people, especially in this industry, especially doing what we are doing. I think it's obviously an industry expert, and let's dive straight into the topic for today's conversation. It's an intricate one. It's an interesting one. It has come up a few times, and so today we're going to talk about the issue of fake listings. Okay, so Ai Cheng, give us a bit of a definition of what fake listings are, what does it constitute, and tell us a bit about it.
Okay, so this whole concept of fake listings is, we call it fake listings, but some people call it bait and switch.
Sure.
So it's something like perhaps you don't actually have that property for sale.
Right.
But you pretend like you do.
Wow.
You put an ad out as if you do to get people to call.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, because then you would have leads to work on, and when a listing do come along, you have buyers to match it with.
Right.
So it's kind of like to keep your, in a way, some people look at it as a strategy to keep their funnel filled.
Sure, right.
Yeah.
And this is rampant. This is something that happens across the industry.
Yes. Unfortunately, this has been a persistent issue for many years. Really, it's not something new.
Right.
But perhaps I think of late it may seem to be getting worse.
Sure.
And I think it's because that sometimes maybe some agents do not know of better ways to do their business.
Yeah.
And they feel that this is actually quite a convenient and easy way to to fish for more buyers to say so to say lah. And these fake listing things also come together with misleading prices.
Right.
Because nobody will call you
Yeah.
if the property was not at a very good price.
Of course, of course.
Right, Caleb.
Yeah,
I mean, if
definitely.
you look at a whole long list of listings, right? The same property listed at 1 million, another person advertised it at 980, another person advertised at 950. Who would you call?
Oh, easy choice, 950, definitely.
Yeah. So that fake listing and misleading prices kind of like come in together, and disturbs the industry's balance.
That essentially is the bait lah. So they put out the bait to catch. Wow, that's interesting. It resonates with me because I've just recently gone prawning. Okay. Interesting activity. Use a bait, so I understand the analogy. So tell us a bit more about how this affects the industry. How does it affect the industry players on a very personal front? As an agent.
As an agent, right? So I feel that for an agent, of course, the agent that is genuinely trying to do their best for the client, trying to get the client the best price, best possible at the price that the client requested for, will be on great pressure because there will be others who are advertising similar. For lower rates, lower prices, and it just messes up the whole wanting to do the best you can for your client. So that manipulates a little bit, you can say to a certain extent, the market, and actually it disadvantages the seller. Because if the seller wanted 1 million, but nobody's advertising at 1 million, everybody's advertising 990, 980, 999 and things like that. How is the seller ever going to achieve a price of 1 million?
Definitely. No, I think that's real, and it affects the agents. But in terms of how it has direct impact on the industry, from people who are outside the industry and they're looking into the industry, how does that make the industry look and feel? We always talk about the idea of recruitment. Recruitment is a big deal. We want to recruit more people. If you're tuning in, you're keen, drop us a note and we'll love to get in touch with you. But the idea of recruitment will get tarnished when people realize, hey, does the industry function like this? Do I have to become like this to some degree. Talk about that. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so sometimes these are the things that make the industry, it brings down the image of the industry and the image of agents. I think agents have come a long way. I think we've come a long way from the times where people look at agents as you can't make it in life. You're some school dropout and all that. Then you come into the profession because this profession doesn't discriminate you in terms of your academic criteria.
Right.
But over the years, we have seen more and more very well educated people, those who are professionally trained, all choosing real estate as their career path because they realize the potential and the value in the business.
Yes.
So as the years go by, the business is the people are getting better, and hence the professionalism of the industry is getting better.
Yeah.
However, along with it, still has its we call it the bad apples, like in a way you can say the bad apples of the industry that give us the bad name. I mean, if we go out there and tell people, oh, I'm a real estate agent, would you proudly go there and tell everyone you're a real estate agent? Would you be proud to tell, would a parent be proud to say that my son is in real estate versus my son is a doctor? Kind of thing like that. Because of the reputation that has unfortunately been set by people who have some,
not all, some
who have not lived up to the professional reputation of the industry. So I think that would probably be the greatest challenge. But having said that, I think that is slowly changing as well.
That's good.
I think as time goes by, the buyers and sellers are also more aware, and they now know the difference between the good one and the not so good one. And they're not lumping everybody in, all agents are like that. All real estate people is like that. I think that stigma is slowly fading. Now they're going with, that is a good agent. That is an agent I don't want to deal with, So that kind of scenario is slowly taking shape.
And you've been in the industry for how long?
Oh, wow. Since 1999.
1999, wow, okay. Many years. You did make a statement earlier on that it has been in the industry for a while. Has it gotten worse, you think?
Okay, I wouldn't say it's gotten worse. I think it's just there. It's just never gone.
Okay.
And also perhaps it's also selective in certain type of property and certain locations, more rampant than others. But having said that, it is something that definitely frustrates the sellers of the property, and it definitely frustrates the buyers. Because buyers, they look on the property portal, right? And then they say, wow, I got so many properties available for sale. Let me call the agent. And then after calling the first one, then you realize, hey, the second one's the same property actually. The third one's also the same property, but different price. Then the fourth one also. Actually, which of them is the real?
And so they're wondering what's going on. Okay, wow.
Or every property he calls is not available. Oh, that one's not available because it was a hook and bait listing anyway. So it was not available. So then the buyer get frustrated and keep calling one by one down the line. And then after a while, they get so frustrated and say, where is that's the question, where's the professionalism in this industry? That's where words like that will come out. The buyers get so frustrated and things like that. So it frustrates the whole system. Buyers, sellers,
very sure it does.
Agents, everyone.
And in today's day and age, with the advent of AI and different things that have allowed us to have access to so much information at our fingertips, I can only imagine that people will be able to access what they need to access, and if it's incorrect information, that's really frustrating. And that can be really a huge downer, so to speak. So, you've talked a bit about the buyer's perspective, which I think is really important. I think as estate agents, it's important to think about the buyer and how they are approaching and how they are feeling. Talk about the owner's perspective of this entire thing and how it affects them in a bit more detail.
Okay. So maybe I give a story of one of my friends. Okay, he wanted to rent out his property. So so every time there's a viewing, he tends to go along. Okay, so this is not normal for an owner, right? Owners usually don't go along. But this friend of mine, he likes to go along for these viewing appointments. So then the agent will show the property and tell the tenant this and that. It was a tenancy, right? Tell the tenant this and that and all that. So then so a few occasions of this, and every time the rental he wanted was 3,008. But every time the agent will revert to him and say that the tenant is going for 2,800 or offering 3,000 and all that. So I was always a little bit wondering why the rate cannot achieve the 3,008. So after like the third viewing, third appointment of
and a similar thing kept happening.
Tenant. So my friend actually spoke to the tenant. He said, "Why can't you improve your offer a little bit? Why can't you give me 3,000 too?"
He spoke to the tenant directly.
So happened. Then he said, "But the property was advertised at 3,000. I'm already giving you at 3,000 the rate you wanted." So then my friend was in shock. Because he actually gave the instruction to rent out the property at 3.8.
Sure.
But because the advertisement went out at 3, he was never going to get anything more than 3.
Wow.
So,
and the tenant thought that they were
he was giving the best rate.
Yeah.
So I think it frustrates the entire system. Definitely, as the owner of the property, he was so frustrated.
Yeah.
He said, "No wonder I can never get a price or a rate higher than what's been offered."
Yeah. I can only imagine. That's incredibly frustrating. Let's talk a bit about the agency perspective. Okay. So we've talked about the rent. We've talked about the owner buy. Let's talk about the agency. How do we combat this as an agency? And when we're hearing, different comments or different things of maybe different agencies do practice this and they're okay with it, I know our stance here in Reapfield is, we want to do things to the best of our ability as compliant and as right as possible. So can you speak into that just a bit?
Okay, so some agencies, what they do is to combat this kind of situations, they promote their agents to go out there to secure sole or exclusive listings.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So when you talk about sole or exclusive listing, then the agency is the only one being appointed to really market the property. So there's only one story. So there's no 10 advertisements of one property, it's just one. Because there's only one agent that is focusing on that particular property.
Right.
So but by using that approach, that actually takes away all the necessity for fake listings. It takes away the necessity for misleading prices because even if you go ahead and did that, it's not going to work because you have there's no way of getting your so-called low offers through. Because the agent that's in charge is having the sole or exclusive rights to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that sounds like that's a bit of a solution that we're talking about. What if an agent encounters this and they experience this and they note it and they go, hey, so and so is they're doing the hanky panky. Yeah.
Okay.
What do they do?
All right.
What do they do?
So the board has a dedicated drop-down menu actually on their board website that says you can lodge a complaint.
Okay.
And if sellers of property, if they happen to see, the property they have instructed an agent to sell and is being advertised at a price that is different from what they instructed, they can write to the board, complain, and the agent will be subject to disciplinary proceedings because it is actually not right. It's unethical,
of course,
by the Malaysia Estate Agency standards to be doing such a thing. Right. So yes, so there is avenues for the public to complain and also have their grievances heard, which means the board will definitely, the first thing they'll do is they will check with the agent, get them to remove such misleading advertisements and fake listings and stuff, and then also will discipline the person responsible, right? Party responsible for this. Yeah.
Do you think this is a Malaysian thing? I mean, a bit of a forward question, but is this a cultural thing?
In terms of not opting for sole and exclusive listing. In terms of the entire issue that we're talking about, fake listings and bait and switching and those sort of things. I don't think it's unique to us.
Okay.
I don't think that's unique to us because in a way, some people may look at it as a clever strategy.
Okay.
Right? If you don't have something, some people say fake it till you make it, right?
Right.
So, that kind of concept. So, it does linger on.
Right.
Yeah, but I feel that, this being a profession regulated by the board with an act that governs the way that we do business, these things are not acceptable.
Sure. And I suppose that's the gray area we're talking about here. That some people are comfortable living in the gray area of saying, hey, there's nothing explicit, I suppose, that you're telling. It's a strategy. It's a solution that works. It's a bit of a it's the approach really is talking about how we can, I suppose, change the culture around how we practice the profession and how we do it well, deal with that. Talk a bit about culture and tell us a bit about what you think needs to shift in terms of culture for us to be good professional real estate negotiators carrying the highest standards of practice.
Okay, so I think the first rule of thumb is that we have to always think long term. Right? So if we're in this business for the long term, then you're prepared to invest in yourself, invest in people, invest in the system, invest in the process. Right? You're not in it for the quick buck, and then you're willing to take shortcuts to achieve that. Right? So I think that's the first. Then the second thing is to realize that there are alternatives to what so-called smart strategies.
Yes.
Like the fake listing and bait and switch and things like that.
Yes.
There are other ways to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, there are better ways to present yourself and present the property without having to resort to
doing that.
To more side ways of doing things. So then, of course, the third thing is that if you wanted a longer term solution, then you should work towards working with the sellers or landlords of property towards sole and exclusive listing.
Yeah, talk more about
that. I think that is the key.
Yeah.
So to me, it's more of it's a combination of things.
Sure.
But a lot of them also comes to realizing actually what is the true cure for this.
Right.
I mean, it's a cure that perhaps is only not part of the agent, but it's the entire real estate industry.
Right.
The sellers got to cooperate, the buyers have got to cooperate, and the agents together, and then everybody forces each other to shape up in a way. Shape up. Because this issue of open listing and fake listing and all that is very minor in countries like the US or Canada or Australia or New Zealand or countries like that. It is because they
why do you think that's because the case?
They predominantly practice sole and exclusive listing. So that is the reason why in these countries, people in a way they recognize real estate agents as of a decent profession, and everyone does a professional job, right? Because they are professional, but the way they conduct themselves, because most of the listings are worked on sole and exclusive basis, and therefore even if they were to co-agent, it's only one possible listing source to work on the co-agency basis with. But ASEAN countries have yet to pick up speed with regards to sole and exclusive. Somehow or rather the mentality, the mindset of the Malaysians, we talk about Malaysians, are still like, the more agent, the merrier.
Right.
If I have more agents, then maybe I got better chances. That sort of thinking is still rather prevalent.
Could it also be tied to a bit of I don't want to step on your feet, I don't want to offend you, so let's work together under that guy. It could be somewhat there. And there's also resistance, I suppose, from owners. That would say, if I limit it to just you and it's a sole listing, I might not get what I want to get out of this. What do you think about that? And,
sometimes I feel that when some people say more is better, sometimes less is more.
Right.
And if as an owner, if you truly commit and say that, okay, I do an interview process. Of course, you don't simply appoint any agent. You do an interview process, and you check with each of these agents. What are you going to do for me? What can you do? What are your experiences? What are your performance like, and all that? And after you interview the person and you're satisfied with that particular person's proposal, then I think it's worth to go into a partnership with the agent. I mean, work together as a team, right? I think the most effective marketing is when the seller and the agent works together like a team.
Definitely.
Right? Working together alongside, supporting each other in ways, and you'll be surprised when sellers and agent work together in that manner. They create the best combo and the best possible outcome. See, sometimes the owners need to realize that if they trust responsibility to somebody, that somebody's got to live up to that responsibility. That's right. Especially if you're selected correctly, anyway, you got through the interview process. Well, some owners may say that, well, what happened if I chose the wrong guy? Right? What happened if I chose the wrong guy and he sits on the listing and do nothing with it, and I'm stuck with that asset that I want to sell that it's not moving. So that will come back to the interview process.
The due diligence, I suppose.
And then also the second thing is, it's time bound. All exclusive and sole listings are time bound. It's not forever. So if it's for 3 months, after 3 months you review him. If you don't like him, change. Or maybe it's a 6-month period kind of thing. So there is ways and discussion possible when it comes to wanting to achieve the objective. So I feel that sometimes having one, and the one knowing that he is the one that's responsible for it, sometimes people rise to the occasion. You carry the weight of the responsibility to make it happen. This whole issue of fake listings and all, it does paint a poor image and perspective, I suppose, on the entire industry. Landing this conversation, could you give a bit of advice, I suppose? But can I just break it down in terms of our viewers, because we have owners, we have buyers, and we also have real estate agents who are tuning in at the moment. So if you could advise all three categories of people,
what would you, I suppose you can lump owner's bias together, so to speak, but what would you say to both? Because I totally agree with what you just mentioned. The symbiotic relationship between an agent and, an owner, when that works well, you achieve the optimum outcome that is desired.
Yes.
Right? So we all got to work together at this. It's not just the professions and the professionals and within the profession. We all got to work together at this to make sure that whatever we're attempting to achieve is done together. So go for it.
Okay. So let's look at the advice to the agent first, right?
Sure.
Okay, so I think the advice to the agent, I mentioned it earlier as well, always think long term. Yeah.
Right.
So, and invest into yourself, into your business, into your process, into your time. I think that the longer you are in the real estate profession, the more benefits you will feel. You will benefit over time. Yeah.
Right.
So it's not a quick make business. It's something that over time you invest into it. The returns will give you over in the long run.
Right.
And for sellers of property, of course, I appeal that that all sellers consider sole and exclusive listing as a method to move forward in the profession. And I think the learning to trust and work together with real estate agents as partners instead of or you're just my agent, A partnership, I think you would see a whole new world you never thought you would experience in working with an agent.
Right.
One of my friends actually, she's a property investor, right? She said that, she calls them the jewels. She considers her agents her jewels.
Wow.
Because they are the ones who help her bring the best deals. Optimize the value of a property and also, and work at it. So I think we gotta think it differently.
Definitely.
Yeah, put that mindset on and just give it a shot. Interview them.
Yes.
Select them.
Yes.
Work with them.
Right. Yeah, that sounds amazing. That sounds conclusive. Just give us a quick, I suppose, one-liner for the agent who's listening to this and going, I think this is great for you. Because you can step out there and you can demand the exclusive and people will give it to you. But I'm new, I'm fresh in the industry, I see what you're saying and I totally agree that I should fight for the exclusive rights to this, but how do I even get started on that journey? How do I even put my foot through the door? I don't even have the confidence sometimes, but
so I think the important thing is to lend support from the company that you're with.
Brilliant.
Sometimes when you're alone, you feel like, oh, that's all I have to offer. But when a seller appoints you, he's actually appointing the agency.
You're right.
He's appointing Reapfield, right? For instance, Reapfield. So Reapfield is a company 40 years. 40 years of experiences, of knowledge, of processes, of trials and errors, of mistakes. Right? And within there are agents that have been with the companies, of course, some long, some short, and the resources that are open to this person, perhaps as a start to work collaboratively, maybe with another agent who is more senior and more proficient, in securing exclusive. And then slowly by learning from buddy program, you can also do it on your own in future. So there's no such thing as, I don't know where to start and hence I don't start. Brilliant. I think there's always a way that within a bigger organization, there are people that you can follow, people who are willing to share with you. Go with them on these appointments, see how they do it, and then you improve yourself.
I think that you're hitting the nail on the head there, and you have also come up with a program. You've called it this whole Step Up program, and you've tied it in. But really, if I'm assuming right, the heart behind it is don't do this alone. Don't do this journey alone. There are support structures and systems that you can fall back onto and glean from to learn from industry experts who really have done this for a very long time, and they have incredible experience down to the scripts and things that you can and you should not say to do what you need to do. So I think that's brilliant advice to hand down, to give up. I think we've enjoyed this conversation, and we hope that as we do progress on, this whole area of fake listings, baiting and switching, evolves into a strengthened strategy, something that can be done in a more ethical manner, I suppose, that will really benefit not just the individual agent, but the agency they're involved with, and also the industry as a whole, so that we can keep growing as well. So I think thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your insight, and I really appreciate your time as well. But that's all we have time for today for our episode of RISE Ruang, where we talk about creativity, community, and culture. Join us for the upcoming episodes, and we can't wait to see you. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.